Should shut off soon. While we're waiting for more parts for that, we're going to work on this a little bit. Technically, I have most all the parts either here or coming to get this actually up and running. So, you know, hooray. Obviously the crankshaft's for the AMX, but we got a new distributor, what you saw there. I don't know if the HE will fit in this or not, but I have a couple of regular just point style distributors as well. Motor mounts, plug wires, brackets, dipsticks, fuel pumps, stage 3 cam, water pump pulley, you name it, I got it coming. Exhaust, headers, all that good stuff. So this video here, we're going to kind of focus on working on this for a while. Also got another video going on that transmission, so same thing, waiting for parts before I put that out. But basically the first thing I'm going to do on this car is get the hood off, fenders off, the grill off, just get it down to a kind of like that, but not completely torn down because I'm not painting the car or anything. Then we get this 454 out of the car because, like I said, I got new valve covers, oil pan, timing gear, timing cover, ton of stuff coming for this engine. So we're going to clean it up a little bit and get it put together, ready to be fired up basically before we stab it back in the car. Hopefully with the transmission attached to it, but maybe not. And yeah, hopefully we can get this car running here in the next 30 days or so. So I'll bring you back when I get all this stuff torn apart. I mean, it's nothing awesome to see, just nuts and bolts, but maybe I'll bring the camera back out as I'm pulling the fenders off, we'll see. Well, I decided to leave the fenders on because, well, two reasons really. First reason is I'm just too lazy to pull them off. Second reason is I guess I don't really need to pull them off for what I'm doing. Biggest thing I had to do is get the all of this stuff out of the way to get the cherry picker in there a little bit better. And then that way I can walk right up and work on it. If you guys watched or didn't watch or care or don't care, I think I put this quickly in a video of building this because this was all ripped out of the car and missing, and this was all messed up, but it's holding up pretty good. So I'll probably should paint it so it doesn't rust away. I kind of threw this car together really fast. I didn't film too much on it, but that's actually the overflow container I've actually always used in the AMX. But you know, I utilized it in the Javelin. It's just one of those ones you can get at CarQuest or Napa or wherever, and I just made a quick bracket for it, and I've always used it. It's always worked good. Relay there is just for the halo lights and stuff, and when I sold the drivetrain out of this, I just nipped the wires that were going to it, but I really don't have a lot to do. I mean, this here is just the wiring to the electric fans, and that would be alternator, and that would be main power from the alternator 2 going to the relays, because the relays just take battery power on one terminal. So it'll be pretty simple to wire this back in, basically, is what I'm saying. Starter wire is somewhere fairly easy to get to, and I think it's actually that black wire tucked right there. It's kind of hanging down. So anyways, I'm going to get this big block pulled out of here. It's just literally sitting in there. It just made itself at home there. And we'll get it pulled out, get it cleaned up, and start throwing some goodies at it. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use the HEI on this or not, but like I said, I got several options. And I'm actually thinking about using a different distributor than the one I've got in the AMX as well, and that's brand new. So I may use that distributor in this. And no, I can't use the HEI in the blower engine, but If I don't use it, I'll probably just give it away on the Facebook group page or something, so always keep an eye out for that. But I'll get this pulled out and get it hanging and get something under it and maybe scrub on it a little bit and bring you back when I get to that part. Alright, well, I'm sure you have not missed too much. Just pulled off all that janky clutch and stuff. Now, this engine was put in a Chevy truck with whatever, like a 4-speed truck, and it was crashed. But like I said, the castings just say this motor is either a 2 or 4 bolt main. Early 70s, early to mid 70s is what the casting numbers are on it. But it's always fun to see these. Now, I've seen this on a bunch of them. I don't really know if that really actually means anything. You know, some people say that means it was a passenger car engine, which when I ran the numbers, it didn't say it was in the truck. It actually said car. So, and then somebody else said under here, it'd probably say it too. But I really don't know if that means anything or not. So, I guess place your bets now whether this is going to be a 2 or 4 bolt main. I'm going to say it's going to be a 2 bolt main just because that's usually how it works out for me, which it's not a big deal if it's a 2 bolt or 4 bolt to me. Some other people might think it's a big deal being a 4 bolt 454, but it doesn't really matter to me all that much. So, but anyways, I'm not real crazy about being underneath this thing on the cherry picker to pull the pan, but I suppose it's got to be done. And I might actually be smart and see if it's got any oil in it before I try to pull the pan, but we'll see how smart I am. So stay tuned for that, and that's going to be the next thing. I will, to much of your guys' early thoughts, as far as my thoughts were, it is just a 2 bolt main, which is fine. No problem there, or with me anyways, I don't care. But there we go, the mystery of, is this a 4 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, half a bolt motor? Well, now we know, it's a 2 bolt. But anyways, I got a new oil pan for it. I got a new oil pump. You know, got a lot of stuff for this old girl. And she does turn over, so that's good. I did check it before I went too crazy with it. But I don't know what that is. No, don't broke it now. What the heck is that? I think it's just a plug. So a plastic plug somebody jammed in there. Like I said, new timing cover, a new crankshaft and lifters for it, and they are hydraulic flat tappet, so you know we got a good chance of just burning up that camshaft. But don't worry, I didn't pay much for it. And I guess that's the oil and to the oil sending unit. But new valve cover gasket or covers, nothing fancy. I just got a quick kit just because it came with everything, and that's just less I have to clean because I really didn't feel like cleaning most of the stuff. I'll be completely honest with you, I wasn't going to clean the engine either. I was going to just stay with the straight up junkyard javelin theme and just throw it in there all greasy, but I got orders from a significant other. We got to clean her up, make her look a little better because I think I've told everybody, but anyways, she plans on racing this with the big block in it, so that's fine with me. Guess if the rear end holds up to it, I don't know. But I don't know, just some sort of probably off-brand camshaft lifters for it. But anyways, pretty much the next thing I'm going to start doing is just scrubbing the old girl down and getting rid of this crap on it that doesn't need to be on it anymore. And that's all I'm pretty much going to be doing now, so I'll bring you guys back when I got her scrubbed down, and I don't know what color I'm going to paint this yet. I'm thinking about painting it AMC teal, but I know that's going to make some people really butthurt, but then again, I don't really care. And I don't know, I've painted a lot of engines Chevy orange. I really don't know if I feel like going back to Chevy orange with it. So I think really the toss-up is it's either going to be black or it's going to be AMC teal. That's the two colors I'm going to decide. And it just really depends on, I guess, whichever can I grab first. But either way, it'll look fine because the new covers are all black. Even the oil pan, everything's all black. So whether I paint the engine black or teal, it'll look fine. Well, whether I painted any color, really. Thought about doing maybe a metallic flake, but I mean, it's the junkyard javelin. So, but anyways, I'll bring you guys back. It'll probably be a few days later before I bring you back, but we'll bring you back and keep on going. All right, people, well, it's been a day or so since we were playing with this last. I don't remember, I think we pulled the oil pan off. Was the last thing we did, but anyways, I've been spending the last full day just hand scrubbing and cleaning this engine, which I got it pretty well clean. I got to work inside these things a little bit, but she is scrubbed down. And no, I don't have a power washer, and it's like 20 degrees out, so. But anyways, so I'm not an expert on 454s at all. I haven't already told you guys that, but I think that would be the year of this motor, which makes about sense. They said it was a mid to early 70s. So 74 is what I'm going to just guess it is. Really clean engine, really. Not really a whole lot to say about it. Valley pan is, or Valley is like really super clean. There is two spots, whoops, they have a little bit of metallic in them. That's it. That looks like metallic, but that's actually just a casting. But I haven't cleaned up any of this yet. I lightly vacuumed, just cleaning out the old gasket and stuff off of this, but even all this area is pretty darn clean on this engine. The valve train area is pretty clean. I think this engine was laying on its side forever, so there's oil on that head still, and this head's pretty dry. But anyways, she's coming right along. I'm going to do just a little bit more cleaning on it. Camshaft looks fine. I don't see any pitting on what I can see. And take that timing cover off. I'm going to scrub around that a little bit. Sometime maybe tomorrow. Today's Sunday. So either tomorrow or Tuesday, hopefully the rest of the parts will be in for this. I went and got a starter for it and whatnot, but our headers, our valve covers are tin, so the oil pan valve covers, all that stuff. Timing gear setup, timing cover, all that stuff should be in, hopefully tomorrow or the next day. I've also got a new oil pump in that bag. And yeah, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments down below who you use to get your parts locally. The closest place to me is O'Reilly's, and well, I don't know, it's O'Reilly's. I don't think the parts themselves are necessarily bad, but I get it. We can't get anybody hired, but when you hire a kid who doesn't even know anything, it's very frustrating to go to O'Reilly's. It took me way too long to explain to them what oil pump and what starter I needed, just because they go by the computer. I mean, they literally asked me, what year truck? I actually told them a 75 Chevy truck, C2500 or K2500, whatever, letter they have. And he's like, well, I need it more specific. So I just told him to guess on that. And then he asked me, is it 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive? I told him guess, because does it really matter? I just need a big block starter and a big block oil pump. And that took way too much effort. But they're still better than AutoZone up here. We have one AutoZone, and I wouldn't even waste my time calling those kids on the phone. Last time I went there, they wouldn't even accept cash. So, but anyways, maybe you guys can tell me who you guys like to use. I personally like CarQuest, just because it's a bunch of older gentlemen that run it and work there, but they're 20 miles away from me, and I know that's not a long distance, but that is a long distance for me to just drive to go get a starter. So O'Reilly's is literally 2, maybe 3 miles at the most from me. So, but Napa would be my next favorite place to go to, depending on which one. There's like, I kid you not, 5 Napa stores in a 20 square mile radius, and there's only a couple of them that I actually like going to. So, well, anyways, with all this rambling going on, all right, I'm not sure where we left off the last time. This has actually been about 2 weeks later, so I'll apologize about the wind noise. It is howling out there today, so probably hear my garage door trying to fall in. But anyways, been working on this. I did try to film a little bit on the cam, but for some reason it just didn't come out very good. I don't know why the camera came out all blurry on it. Maybe I had some oil on the lens, but usually I can see that. I don't know what happened, but my point is I put the new camshaft in this, and the gear drive timing gear set, but the camshaft I got was just I don't know, like Speedway brand or something, just some cheapy. They claim stage 3, but I don't know if it is or not. Came with lifters, all that good fun stuff. This is definitely a Speedway timing gear drive set, whatever you want to call this, but they're not really all that bad to do. I know I chickened out on doing them a couple times because it just seems like there's a lot of work involved to get them to work right, but they're really not bad. You got to make sure you have clearance in that, and you have a cam button that you have to grind on to get clearance to your timing cover, and then you may have to grind on this long one that goes to the back of the block here. You can see that. But actually this one's pretty good. I've got just about the perfect clearance with the gasket on to this one without even grinding it. And this one here I didn't have to grind very much. I had to grind maybe a 1/16 off of it or so. But and I know it looks crooked. I did grind it a little crooked at first on the belt grinder, and then got it hot on that side. All that good fun stuff. But really wasn't that bad. Getting the camshaft in here was really easy. The cam bearings looked actually really good. There goes that noise out there. Geez, sounds like something blew away outside. Anyways, super clean engine. The only thing that I have found wrong with this big block 454 so far, one of them isn't even really anything that concerning, but the little collar for the oil pump was broken, and that's fine because I had to readjust my pickup tube anyways for the new oil pan. But anyways, earlier in the video, I don't know where I put it now. I'm sure it's right in front of me. Oh, here it is. So earlier in the video, I do believe I mentioned there's a little bit of metallic pooling on the valley pan and just one couple spots on that side, but nothing bad in this engine. Never thought about this camshaft all that much, but here's the stock camshaft out of this. And even though it's hard to come up on camera, that lobe is wiped off. I mean, one with my thumb on it. She is dead. There's a better one with a little bit of a point on it, but I mean, that one there is dead. And then there's one that's slightly worse somewhere on here. But I think it's that one there is really bad too, and it's also pitted. But anyways, my point is, two of these lifters were just done on this camshaft. And that is a concave there, whatever you want to call it. But it has definitely been eaten alive. So that's the only thing I can actually find that was wrong with this 454. And more than likely it had a miss that they could never get out of it or something. Or maybe it had valve train noise too. I don't know. I'm not really sure what a dead cam or a flat cam really sounds like. I haven't ran into too much of that before. But anyways, I just thought I'd go over this little bit of stuff. I got to get the timing cover put on here so I can put my oil pan gasket on. I got to weld that on a little bit. They actually had it welded before. That's why it's kind of shiny and grinded there. I got to weld that to the proper location, which I'm going to run about with the gasket on, using clay and all that stuff. I'm going to run about 3/8 of an inch roughly. Be a little higher on one side, but that's just how it is. I've been using modeling clay to get my clearances for this. Pretty simple to do. And so far, the last thing I can say about this big block Chevy, the hardest thing I've had to do on this whole engine so far, mechanical wise, cleaning up, I thought I would say cleaning the grease off this engine. No, actually getting the old oil pan gasket off of this engine was probably the hardest thing I've had to do so far. I don't know if they used like glue on this thing. I have no idea, but this thing was not fun to get off. I had to do the wire wheel, all kinds of stuff to get it cleaned up. So, but anyways, I'm gonna tack that bad boy up and get the timing cover on. I just want to show you the timing gear and stuff before I did that. And what my plans are is to get this engine buttoned up, get oil in it, and prime it and all that good stuff with the intake, get the intake on it, get it all put together so I don't have to climb in this car and do stuff like intake bolts and all that good stuff. And here in a little bit I'll actually show you the coolest way ever that a guy right down the road showed me. He's got a shop, how to pump up these lifters without having to just soak them in oil and then try to, you know, plunge them yourself. But really neat trick, and I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. I can use an old lifter to actually show you it. So I'm going to get that done and I'll bring you back. Well, I just spent way too much time messing with this oil pan. If it's dirty or not, but anyways, I thought I'd be the smart guy and use a tap and clean these holes all the way through, because I needed the stock pan bolts were just a little bit too short for this big thick gasket, and I had some longer bolts, and I thought, well, I'll just clean those through because they're gonna have to go all the way through. Yeah, I broke my tap inside of that, and I'm sure if you've ever broke a tap, and you know how fun it is to get those out. I ended up having to drill a hole there, taking a punch and just breaking it out of there, and then I didn't have a drill bit big enough or long enough to reach, because you can't get your drill all the way to the pan. I didn't want to take the panel back off, so I put my rat tail file in there and run it backwards so it doesn't try to grab and go up, and bored that hole out and put just a bolt nut through it. So yeah, I just went ahead and found a slightly shorter bolt for that side to avoid all of this again. But oil pan is on. Now, as usual with these cheaper parts that I buy, oil pan fit pretty good. This timing cover fit pretty good. The seal actually fit in it pretty good. I actually grinded the paint out just to give it a better stick, and I went ahead and just put a real light coat of RTV around it, but I still had to hammer it in there. But fit pretty good. The little timing arm, I had to work on it some. It had a notch out for that, and overall the timing cover didn't fit real good. Oil pan fit fine. The biggest problem I have with the oil pan is just I didn't have a bolt kit for it, so that kind of got hairy. But it's finally on. Timing cover's on. I guess I got to put the flex plate on the back of it here. I don't know if I should pull this pilot bushing out or not. I don't know if it makes a difference, because this wasn't a standard. I don't know. I guess I probably should make my mind on that before I throw it in the car and have to really mess with it. But I thought I'd show you that just because, yeah, that was intense. Oh, also, the shop floor is becoming a big mess. But besides that, so the same guy that showed me this little lifter trick recommended one of these Fel-Pro oil pan gaskets, and they come with these little things here where they come with 4 of them. You screw them into the block, and then you snap your oil pan gasket over them. They hold the oil pan on for you, and then you can push your oil pan up and it holds the whole thing together while you're getting everything put together, and then you just take a screwdriver and thread them out. So pretty nifty. This is going to be kind of tough to do, so I'm going to set you down and show you. So he had one of these little just oil things here, and then you got your oil hole right there for your lifter. Now with your new ones, you can just, and it'll actually pump them up. Well, this one's not pumping up very good, but it'll actually pump up and start coming out of the whole thing. But that's an old crappy lifter. It's not wanting to. It's full of icky. That's probably why. Well, you might be able to do it backwards. I don't know. But anyways, with new lifters, it works real well. I just don't have any new lifters to show you. But anyways, I'm going to continue on. I didn't get a freeze plug to pull that gross heater thing out of there. I probably should. I'm just hoping to have this set in the car before or by this weekend, so I can get the shop cleaned up. We still got to put on the intake. Like I said, I got to put the flex plate on, got to pull that pilot bearing out. I have an exhaust system coming for it. It hasn't gotten here yet. Buddy had a set of just generic Chinesium made headers, but the driver's side would fit and work fine, these block huggers, but that center on the block hugger style big block comes down right here, and that's where your motor mount goes, and it does that because of the starter. So I got some kind of like flow style ones. I think they said they're for Camaros, and they drop out somewhere right here, so hopefully not too close to the firewall. That's all I can hope for, but I'm hoping those are going to work real good, and if they do, then we can figure out exactly what they are. I bought them used because a brand new set was like as much money as I have into this engine, so I found a used set for a couple $100. So we'll try those out and see how they're going to work, but I'm going to continue on here, and hopefully I don't break any more bolts. Alright everybody, well, I got a little bit excited because I can only handle so much of a mess inside of my garage that I gotta get my mess cleaned up. But behold, the 454 sits on motor mounts in the junkyard javelin. And yes, for all of you wondering, I already have motor mounts being laser cut and will be available for purchase very soon. And these motor mounts will fit big block Chevys or small block Chevys, and they will bolt right into a V8 cross member. I am going to send a couple test mounts out to some people I know that have inline cross members, and I do believe the inline adapter for the LS motors will actually work right on this as well. But they will have to test that for me and see. But I have to say it's looking pretty snazzy inside there. I believe we got plenty of room for water pumps and fans and all that other crap. I bought a brand new HEI distributor. I'm not entirely sure that the windshield wiper is going to fit in this, but I will try. But I can tell you, if you run a point style distributor, you should have no problem running a windshield wiper as well, which I have both styles, and I'll probably try the other one. But easy access to transmission bolts. You can actually reach them right here because you got almost a fist width space. This engine is sitting a little bit like that, and that's because I'm holding up the oil pan with the old jack. It actually dips down a little bit. So when this dips down, it'll be, well, you can actually see it moving when I stick my big ginormous body on this car. But anyways, it will dip back some, and I think it'll clear the bottom of the windshield wiper when it does. But it'll settle back in there a little bit. And as far as I can tell, as of right now, there's no modifications to the transmission tunnel to fit a turbo 400 or what have you, which we're making a video on that as well. That is tricky because I am definitely waiting for parts, and I've got to go find some parts for it. So, alright people, well anyways, I'm going to leave this video off here. Sorry about jumping around so much in it and some of it not making a lot of sense, and some of the video was lost, but I do appreciate you guys following me. Header should be in the next few days, and I gotta do the intake and all that stuff still. But like I said, shop is getting so dirty, I decided let's get this bad boy shoved in here out of my way so I can put the cherry picker up and all that fun stuff. One final note, because I know this is going to be asked to me a lot. Will a stock hood fit on this? Probably not. However, if you're using a stock cast iron intake, probably will, just barely. But I'm using a slightly high-rise dual plane aluminum intake from Assault. Don't know what that is. Looks like a pretty good intake though. The inside bores are pretty smooth, so the price is right. I'm not going to complain. We just want this big block to start and run on its own. And lastly, I know I keep saying that, the oil pan is going to be just awesome on this cross member. Even when it dips down a little bit, it is barely going to hang under this cross member, so it's going to be great. Anyways, follow us on Instagram or our Facebook group page, 68AMXLS. Especially if you want to know about motor mounts, it is way easier to find us on the Facebook group page because that's where we put a lot of pictures, media, and prices and availability. And more or less, if you want to ask if they're available or questions about them, it's a no-brainer just to jump on Facebook and send me a message. You can on Instagram as well, and I do my best to answer them as quick as I can on both platforms. And if you ask me on YouTube, I generally answer them too, but it's just a lot easier for me to see all that stuff on Facebook and be able to paste and copy things I need to send you or links and all that good stuff. So, all right, well, as always, I appreciate everybody watching, and we're going to see you in the next video.